Hi guys, and welcome to this new commentary video. Yeah, I know my voice again, but please try to bear with me because we got some amazing news. There's just been a new major update in China, and apparently we get 2 new glyphable skills for every single class. So I thought I might take the opportunity to talk about those skills, show you those skills and what they do, of course, and to give my opinion on these skills and how I would use them and which glyph I would use, and maybe even how those changes, this update would change the current PvP meta. So let's jump right into it. We shall start with the Blademaster class and the skill Flame Tsunami. Flame Tsunami always been a good skill, but it always had the requirement that it only could be used if you had a certain amount of HP or below that, so that made it really situational. I mean, it saved my butt many times, but still situational. Let's see if the glyphs can do anything about it. And just to tell you guys, additional weapon damage glyphs will get completely ignored by me because they're not even worth mentioning. They're completely useless. If you deal like 20% additional weapon damage, the difference won't even be noticeable in endgame PvP. Same goes like if you had like 200% of weapon damage. You can completely ignore that. That's absolutely useless. So we see the first and the major glyph for this skill. The blue one stuns with any HP amount, but only deals 30% of weapon damage. I don't care. It still deals damage, so it can take a death charm. And another reliable CC skill on a BM is awesome. Absolutely perfect, and I'm looking so much forward to this, to using this, because awesome. It's just awesome. The red one, it's difficult, because it has potential to be a finisher, because if you have full chi, you get like 300% additional damage on the skill itself. That's quite a bit. So it could be used as a finisher, but if it doesn't finish off your enemy, you're gonna be in some big trouble because you just spent chi. And it also doesn't state that it stuns with any HP amount. So you would still need like 75% HP to cast it, or below, of course. Or it doesn't stun at all. And if it doesn't stun at all, yeah, I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. And some things, of course, aren't final yet. But with the current knowledge we have, I would prefer the blue one. Because reliable CC, I'm always a fan about that. And the silver one stun removed that? No thank you. Let's move on to Dragon Rising. Seriously, this skill is just complete garbage. Why they introduced this, I don't know, because it makes no freaking sense whatsoever. First off, it gimps the paralyze to 4 seconds, and even when you use hammers or axes, you only get like 5 seconds. The regular Sage amount, Sage Primal, was 6 seconds already. Demon even is 7.5. So let's see if there are some glyphs that can make up for it. You also save 20 chi when casting it, compared to what it is now. But 20 chi. Doesn't make that much of a difference. Weapon damage, nope. Range, nope. Immunity for 1 second if you have a level 5 or higher glyph. I mean, like, you sacrifice 3.5 seconds of paralyze as a demon, or 2 seconds of paralyze as a sage, to get 1 second of immunity? No. No. Range? Nah. We don't want that. This one is pretty weird because it has like the same effect as this one, but you remove every other effect. So you don't like increase the channeling time and stuff like that, but you gain a little bit of chi and you are immune as well. So if anything, I would suggest that Sage BMs use this skill, because then you have like still the 6 seconds paralyze that you're already used to, and you have the option to gain some immunity and chi if you use the blades. I mean, if you are Sage, I think you can go for the Argent glyph, but I don't think that the glyph slot is worth it, because there are some other way better skills that you can use that on. But let's move on to the Wizard. A very interesting skill, Life Reversion. It's always been a very interesting but extremely situational skill. If used correctly, you can completely catch an enemy off guard with it. So let's see how they improve it. or not. So the golden one, target loses chi. It's a nice idea, but 50 chi at max level. Oh, that should be a 10. 50 chi at like a level 10 glyph, which is more realistic to get the 30 chi slot, and this makes like no difference at all. The green one actually is pretty damn interesting. I mean, it lasts only 6 seconds for level 5 glyph, but if you catch an enemy at the right timing and put the next skill he uses to 2 minutes of cooldown on top of the original cooldown, of course, that's absolutely awesome. If you like 1v1 versus a BM and you catch his Magma Arrow with that skill, the BM has huge trouble. But it's still extremely situational, but I think that's a pretty decent upgrade and I would settle for it. And I'm looking forward to what our professional wizards can do with this skill. All those shenanigans. But maybe there's more. The blue one, anti-purge for 6 seconds. Sounds like it's good actually, but it's so situational, and 6 seconds. I mean, Venos can cast Purge and interrupt it and just purge you after it's gone. So yeah, it's good, I guess, but it's pretty short amount of time. So I wouldn't recommend it, but let's go on to the red one. The red one sounds interesting too. You can mark your HP and even restore some additional HP. So if you have like 80% of HP left and some massive hit from a Nemo Portal player puts you down to like 20% HP, even ticks your charm and puts you then back to 20% HP, and then the skill ticks within 6 seconds. You have like, you're back to 90% of HP. That's pretty good, but 6 seconds again. I mean, if someone can deal so much damage to you within 6 seconds, you die anyway. So the chances of surviving that barely to make it to good use, nah, it's not worth it. So, and the silver one, I believe, could find some usage because it's basically a short dead nerfs. And yeah, why not? I mean, it's an okay skill upgrade. I think this will get some usage. I mean, it's only 6 seconds as well, but if you fight really strong people, it can make you survive one extremely hard hit. That's pretty nice. So it's okay. And for the Divine Pyrogram, you can see the Golden Glyph just adds a bit of weapon damage and additional damage. That's like no difference at all. We can forget that. The Channeling one is actually pretty interesting because from 2.5 seconds channeling to 1.9 second channeling, that's a huge difference because the skill is normally so damn slow. Unbelievable. The Chi Glyph would be nice too if anyone would actually use that skill. I mean, it's not wise to use that skill as a spammable skill to restore chi because it's so goddamn slow. So the green one till now is my favorite. Let's see. The red one increases channeling to 4 seconds for just 180% of weapon damage more. Who would do that? Seriously, that makes no sense. The silver one is actually my favorite because the skill becomes a charge skill. So if you have like a level 5 glyph on it, you start with 70% of minimal damage. Minimal damage means that if you instantly fire it off in like 0.5 seconds, then you will still deal a decent amount of damage, but the skill like comes out instantly. And I've known some situations with wizards where there's been just a little bit of HP left on the enemy, but the skills are so slow and the charm ticked. This is the perfect solution for this. I really like this glyph. Well, but that's up to you guys, I guess, if you want to use it or not, but I'm a fan of it. So let's get right into the archers now. Elven Alacrity. I mean, it's a good skill to begin with. Has huge cooldown. That's a bit of a drawback. So let's see if we can fix that with some glyphies. The golden one, besides running speed, increases flying speed. That's so situational. I don't think I would ever use this in like 1v1 or mass PvP. Maybe just to flee if you get like overwhelmed. But nah. Don't use it. The green one is pretty damn nice. I mean, if you use it correctly, you get a max speed and anti-stun buff for every squad member within 20-meter range for 6 seconds. That can be damn nice to fire off an assault or something like that, to get everyone to a point you want them to be rather quickly. I mean, 6 seconds, it's just a holy path duration, but this skill really reminds me of the good old holy path before they changed it. Awesome. Just because of this nostalgia, I love that glyph. And I won't settle for it most likely, but it's cool. A cooldown decrease, 40 seconds. Yeah, I mean, the skill is actually pretty good, but is it worth it that you like waste a glyph on it just so you can use it 40 seconds earlier? Because the skill cost is still there, so it costs 1 chi, 1 spark, I mean. So I wouldn't settle for it. There are better skills to glyph than this one. The red one just gives you some chi back. Interesting, but yeah, then again, you need the glyph slots for more important skills. The silver one is also pretty nice, because I think it ports you 20 meters ahead. Or maybe it will be like the archer leaps, because they're also 20 meters. Plus it gives you a max speed and anti-stun. If you want to capture a flag in Nation Wall, that's pretty nice as an archer, but capture the flag as an archer, if there's any CC on your way, you're instantly dead. So it's very situational, but you can do some shenanigans with it, I guess. And for the knockback arrow, this is a massive disappointment. I thought they would enable it so that you can actually knock back people, which would make it extremely OP. Then you could knock back people with Feather Armageddon and with knockback arrow, and knockback arrow is even a ranged skill. That would be insane to kite people. Holy moly. But sadly enough, that's not the case. So we get some weapon damage, nah. More weapon damage, nah. Increased damage on non-player, nope. And the silver makes it a charge skill. The skill itself is already pretty fast, so it's not really worth it. It will still like get nearly never used. Even with those glyphs, no one would use it, because yeah, it's pointless, pretty much. So let's go for the clerics. The Siren's Kiss gets his chi cost reduced. That's already pretty nice. There aren't many offensive clerics out there, I gotta add that. So there are not that many clerics that would actually use it. But it actually has a freeze effect on it, a chance based freeze effect, so it was still nice depending on the situation. But let's see if the glyphs can bump it up. Weapon damage, nope. No freeze effect, nope. Not for weapon damage. Recovers 10 chi per frozen target enemy. I mean, if you're really crowded as a cleric, like really crowded, and you have like no chi, but the 75 chi you have left, but you want to sock someone, and you think like, I need more chi, and you have like 10 targets, and you can use that and instantly get 150 chi. So you end up with pretty much 75 more chi than you had before. But I mean, it's just a stupid glyph. Why would you use that? You have more important glyphs to care about. The channeling one is also pretty nice. 0.5 seconds would be pretty hard to interrupt the cleric casting it, but then again, so situational where you actually use that skill, except for maybe PvE, but PvE, guys, seriously. And the silver one can only be used in Violet Dance, but weapon damage, nah. This skill was so long overdue. Guardian Light, amazing. Increase running and flying speed by up to 90% is all actually pretty nice, but here comes the kicker. The green glyph. Reduce incoming damage by 79%. This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. This is nearly invoke level damage reduction. That means an endgame cleric that uses Guardian Light won't be killed for 10 seconds. Absolutely nice. I love that glyph. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You use that glyph. That's it. You use that glyph. Basically. I mean, if you know that you won't be pressured anyways by anyone and will survive anyway, then you might not use that and use the anti-stun effect instead. because for 9 seconds anti-stun effect plus the basic damage reduction, that's also pretty nice, especially if you have like a G17 weapon without Purify spell, like with untargetable proc or something like that. You could actually make use of this anti-stun. But that depends on your gear setup and the situation. Personally, I would always go for the maximum damage reduction because it's just nice. Increase the running speed. Yeah. I mean, it reduces the cooldown massively, but won't always save you. 100% speed increase won't always save you. I mean, it could be used depending on the situation, but damage reduction is still king, personally. The Argent Glyph, the silver one, this is pretty interesting, because it teleports you 25 meters forward. That can be pretty damn nice. I mean, it cuts the duration to 6 seconds, but you have a leap. As a cleric, a leap? That's... Depending on the situation, that can save your butt. That can pretty much save your butt. But... It also depends. I like this glyph just because I love leap skills or teleport skills. They are awesome. Seriously, they are just awesome. But my winner for this skill is the damage reduction one. So let's get to the Barbarians. Everyone's most favorite class. And I can already tell you guys that the skills they get, it's just insane. Those skills are insanity. So the basic skill looks normal, like it always had been. So let's jump right into the glyphies. Every time the Barb will receive damage, it will actually increase the damage by 26% for the regular glyph. That means it can cap up to 260% of increased damage for 60 seconds. That is massive. And it can cap to 300% if you have a level 10 glyph. But let's just go for the 5 to 7 range because everyone is pretty much in that range. So 260%, it's only a slight upgrade, that's why I wouldn't use it. The green glyph is already a little bit better because you can stack those 20% up to 16 times, which would put you at 320% already, which is 60% more than the golden one. So I would always go for this one. Of course, you can't use it as soon as with the golden one because the intervals are shorter for this one, but it's still a pretty nice skill, and if you get focused fired, you build it up in no time. But that's still not the kicker. That's still not the kicker. Weapon damage increased by 50%, stacks only 4 times. And it even cuts the duration time, the blue one. I mean, you're not like instantly at 200%, like which was the regular increase of the old skill. But you always get a little more hits in than that. I don't know. I mean, it has its usages, but I wouldn't recommend it. Weapon damage increased for 60% and the duration is 60 seconds. Like, it doesn't matter who hits you, you always get like 80% for 60 seconds. Nah, the other ones are so much more better. And now, here comes the kicker, the Argent Glyph. Every time Barb will receive damage, Barb's death level increased for 10 death levels, stacks up to 10 times. And it lasts 50 seconds. It means if you're a focused Barb, like in TW or something like that, you're like instantly at plus 100 defense levels for 50 seconds. Of course the stacks, or I guess because they currently can be purged, will get purged and you're back to those 0 death levels, but if you get focused you build that up instantly again. So like permanent 100 more death level on a Barb? This is insanity. This is absolutely OP. This is unbelievably OP. I love it. Not that Barbs would have needed the additional survivability, but Chinese devs are, you know, they do whatever they want and see fit. So, but that's not all for Barbies. We have the Violent Triumph and the golden one. Old effects are removed. Next hit gonna be crit and with 20% more damage. That's actually damn nice. I mean, you don't have anti-stun anymore, but your next hit will be 100% crit plus 60% more damage. Can you imagine the combination potential with Armageddon? You just casually go to someone like, let's say, caster, and you paralyze them with Mighty Swing. You can even use the 100% chance glyphs for increased cooldown, because maybe that's all you need, one paralyze. So you go to them, paralyze them, use Penetrate Armor, Tangling Mire, Armageddon. And before you cast Armageddon, you use this golden glyphed Violent Triumph. What will happen is that you're already golden glyphed Armageddon that already deals like additional base damage on top of the damage, which is the strongest glyph for Armageddon, gets another 60% additional damage and will always be crit. Depending on your gears, you can absolutely obliterate casters with that. Like, boom, bye bye. I love it. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, we have many anti-stun options as a Barb, and the cooldown is also pretty low, so you can use it quite often, this one. And if it is damage you want to deal, this glyph is absolutely amazing, because you can just 1, 2, 3 enemies with that. It's like the Barb is the new sin or something like that. It's not that bad, but we'll get back to that. But let's check out the other glyphs. The green one, old effects are removed, increase PvE damage. For PvE, absolutely amazing. I mean, you get 120% additional damage for 10 seconds for PvE. 120% additional damage, awesome. If you want to farm some TTs or something like that, or for Flow Silver Palace, or for Dawnlight Halls, absolutely amazing. If you combine that with armor again, yet in PvE, it's just boom, everything's that nice. Absolutely nice. For the blue one, every skill damage gonna crit for the next 6 seconds, or rather 8 seconds. That's also pretty nice. I mean, Sage Barbs could use that for like a makeshift Bestial Onslaught, but I don't know. I mean, just crit. It has its usages, but we have this monster right here. So why would you bother with the blue one? The golden one is just better. So you can always nearly anytime take the golden one. And as for the red one, the movement speed is also increased, but the duration is only 6 seconds. If the duration would have stayed normal, this would be awesome to kite people. Like, for just survivability and for kiting, this would be the best glyph, but 6 seconds, it can save you, but I don't know. It doesn't sound that good. And for the Argent glyph, it instantly recovers 30% of your HP with a level 5 glyph. But it also costs like 1 spark to recover 30% HP, but you don't get an anti-stun or anything like that. Back in the day that would have mattered, but now it doesn't matter at all. Let's come to the Venomancers. Arcane Antinomy and Fossilized Curse, so they pretty much go for the level 100 skills for the Venom. Let's see if it's worth it. The golden glyph also adds like base physical damage, which would only pretty much matter if you triple spark as a Veno, because triple spark as a Veno also increases your physical damage, but without spark your physical damage is still 10 to 20k ish depending on your gears and specs, but it's not really much. 20% of 20k even, yeah, it's not worth it. The green one increases the duration to 10 seconds, decreases the duration to 10 seconds, but reduces the target's magic attack by 100%. I guess it sounds nice, but 150% of magic attack reduced, which will be weapon damage, because it has to be weapon damage, because then 100% would mean 0, and 100% of weapon damage is nothing. So let's move on to the blue one. Duration is also 10 seconds, but doesn't reduce target's speed and channeling, but reduces the magic attack by 250%. 250% sounds like a lot more, but it's still not, it doesn't make that much of a difference, so we can ignore that one too. And red glyph doesn't reduce target speed or channeling, but you get a damage bonus based on your physical base stat. 80% this time. Plus, it also adds an additional 50% of base physical damage. So all in all, you have like a 95% of your base physical damage. I mean, if you trip spark, that's like another 30k ish, I guess, as a Veno, depending if you're Sage or Demon. So that's kinda nice if you want to go for those zero death proc shenanigans or something like that, but I don't think it's worth to glyph that skill for this. There are better skills to glyph. But now here comes the very potentially OP one, the silver glyph. Instead of the old effect, it drains target's mana to 0 every 3 seconds. Doesn't sound like much. You might think like, oh, it drains mana completely. I mean, yeah, maybe I can't use one skill, but then charm ticks, and then like my MP pod kicks in, especially if the duration is just 3 or 6 seconds. But there's a genie skill called Chaotic Spirit, and what that genie skill does for Venomancers is it changes your MP value to your current HP value and vice versa, so it, so to speak, switches the values. And if you time this one perfectly on the 6-second mark, right when it jumps to 0, and you use Chaotic Spirit, then your target will die instantly. No matter how many HP he has, no matter how much death level, yada yada, all doesn't matter. Gear is completely irrelevant, it will instantly die. That allows for some OP combinations. But you need to have, you either need to have like perfect timing, or you block your charms. You block the charm ticks with the dot glyphs and the soul degeneration glyph that blocks charm ticks and HP regeneration. So you can just perform a CC lock, time that well, and even if like an MP pod kicks in and your target has like 500 to 1k HP after Chaotic Spirit, you can, like, if you CC the target, you just use one more skill and they're dead anyway. So there's a lot of potential in that glyph, and I really like it, and I want to see how our Venomancers are going to use that. Pretty nice. As for Fossilized Curse, this skill has always been nice because it's just a regular damage skill, but it always purges every magic defense buff on the target. This can catch people off guard pretty quickly, but it also only applies pretty much to like the magic buff from Clerics or from Spirit of Defense. It really only this one magic buff, but it still does a lot if you combine it with like a spark combo from a wizard or something like that. So it has potential, or it had potential. Now let's see what it can do. Now the golden one increases base magic damage. That's nice. I always like base magic damage increase, but of course Venomancer is no sin, so you don't get like 200% of base damage increase, you only get 40%, but that's still quite nice. So this one is actually good if you just want to use it as a damage skill. 2 minutes cooldown though, so you still might want to pick other glyphs instead. The green one reduces the target's physical attack by 100%. It's the same as above, just for physical attack. Doesn't matter. You can completely ignore it because it won't save you. The blue one is the same as above again. It's just a little bit of more reduction, but you can forget it. It's just as useless. And the red one gives you an instant 80% of base magic damage increase, which would sum up to a 95% of base magic damage increase, which is pretty nice. This would make the skill nearly double as strong, which is, as a finishing skill that also removes your magic defense buffs, that's quite nice. I like this one. But a very technical one, the Argent Glyph again. Like, it always seems like the Argent Glyphs, the silver ones, are the best because they add brand new effects to it. And the other glyphs are just improvements and stuff. But the Argent Glyphs always add like very special touches to the skills. I like that. So instead of old effects, you paralyze yourself and your target. Also, you both get immune for 6 seconds. You can use that to take one of your enemies out of the game, like a cleric that would otherwise sock someone, so you can kill someone else within those 6 seconds. And you also can keep yourself alive, because both you and your target will get immunized. And you can't prevent it through any other means because you get paralyzed, and that's unavoidable. So that's pretty nice. I mean, I guess if you're already an Iron Guard or AD, I think it won't paralyze you, even though I'm not so sure about that. I think if they do a decent job at programming, which they normally don't, so you know, it will still paralyze you. But let's see. As for the assassins, the Shadow Teleport gets an update. So since we're talking about assassins, it's pretty short-handed. Recovers 1 charge, doesn't matter. Chi doesn't matter. Reduces skill cooldown, doesn't matter. Stealth doesn't matter. But here, this one. Look at that. Every single hit charge you have will potentially paralyze a target for 0.7 seconds, and that's at level 1. You know. So you can say that it always recovers chi, but the red glyph also paralyzes the target for 0.7 seconds per hit charge. The combinations you can do with that is just insane. Like imagine you just have a target standing outside of Silverpool and you're a Sin, you go in there stealthed, and you have like all your hit charges already up, and then you go in, use Cursed Jail. There's a chance your target instantly dies, because Cursed Joke is ridiculous. But even if the target survives, they will most likely have to use AD or Faith or Expel to survive the next few hits, which is also very unlikely if they don't use the Genie skills. So then you just use some Life Hunter action to recover some hit charges, and then you use Inner Harmony to recover some more hit charges, and then after AD or Faith is off or Expel, you just jump to the target for 3.5 seconds. The charm is still in cooldown by that time, and then you just use some random skills for those 3.5 seconds and kill the target. If you time it correctly, you can even end it with a sleep skill with Deep Sting, and then you can use Throat Cut for more CC and damage. And at the latest, after Throat Cut, the target will die, because no one can tank a Sin's damage for that long. Maybe a Barb, a Seeker, and a BM, yes, but anything that's light armor or arcane armor would just die. It would just die. And there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you could prolong the fight if you use AD and Iron Guard instantly, but after that you have nothing left. If you do that, the Sin would just have to stealth, recover his hit charges, and use the next Cursed Jail on you, with which you would be completely defenseless, and then you're dead. So, yeah, Sins are so funny, aren't they? So, since we covered this one, Paralyze, anything else would be just stupid. Let's jump to the Toxic Torrent. Weapon damage, nope. Huge amounts of weapon damage, but still nope. Weapon damage, nope. Weapon damage, I mean, even if it's a wood dot or something like that, it doesn't matter, because you can't forget it. It doesn't make any difference. And weapon damage again, so a completely useless skill. As for Sandflood, for the Psychics, weapon damage, nope. Weapon damage, nope. I mean, the blue glyph makes it an AoE, and AoEs are always cool. So I guess if you want to use that skill, use the blue one, because AoEs are always nice, especially as Psychics. You pretty much always try to deal as much damage as you can, so using an AoE makes sense. As for the red one, usual dot effect removed, other one, telekinesis explodes in 12 seconds, but it's yet again weapon damage. As for the Argent Glyph, the silver one, it increases damage on silenced targets, but 12% on a silenced target. That makes no difference, so this skill pretty much you can completely ignore. Same as for Trade Winds, you can nearly completely ignore that skill, because flying speed increased, movement speed increased, movement and flying speed increased. Or, like, I mean, the red glyph could be nice because you have another holy path to kite away in some dire situations. Yes, I guess the red one can have some usages, but since all the other glyph skill of Psychics kind of suck, you can't really use that one because you have the room for it. So yeah, use that one. Use another holy path. I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? This is also pretty nice, the Argent Glyph, because it increases the flying speed to the maximum for 6 seconds. That can also be pretty nice, but I guess a majority of fights are fought on the ground, which is sad, because I'd love to have some PvP in the water or in the air, but it usually never happens. So I guess the red one is the best one for this skill and worth a recommendation, but the silver one is also not that bad. So let's jump to the Seeker ones, and those are insane. You can already see it here. The green one increases EPS for 10,000% and lasts 24 seconds. I mean, they've also that. I mean, if you read it like that, you will think to yourself, EPS for 10,000%. That has to be a translation error. It needs to be a translation error. And I guess, guys, to put down the hype, it is a translation error, because it's actually a lot more likely that it isn't APS and that it is accuracy instead, because 10,000% accuracy makes more sense. It's similar to Blessing of the Condor for Archer, which increases evasion for 1000%. But yeah, I mean, the EPS one would have been absolutely broken. You just ulti, trip, spark, occult eye someone, bye bye. I mean, that would be damage, incoming damage that no one could tank. I mean, like the casual plus 12 Seeker could just kill my Bob in 2 seconds with that combo if that was EPS. So we can all be happy that it isn't EPS and move on, and let's see what this skill has to offer as well. The Golden Glyph is quite nice. All the skills are crit damage for the next 8 seconds. I think this one is pretty OP too, and will be used by many Seekers, because if you have Sacrificial Slash debuffs on your enemy, and the buff on yourself of course, and every single skill you perform is a crit, the damage, holy moly. So the golden one is my favorite. Decreased cooldown for the blue one, not really worth it. The red one has a chance to instantly reset the cooldown of the skill itself. The chance is too low. I wouldn't gamble with that skill, seriously. And the silver one doesn't increase crit chance, but increases weapon damage for 100%. Weapon damage, seriously? No. The golden one is the best one by far. And for blade affinity, this skill itself, without any glyph, already gets a massive boost, because the decreased channeling duration is buffed up to 11 seconds already. This is huge. This is absolutely huge, and will help Seekers to obliterate people even more than they do now. And yeah, it's hard to believe, but yeah, wait till you see what the glyphs can do. The golden glyph can increase the chance of the status evasion. Like even with a level 1 glyph, it's already better than title. With a level 5 glyph, you have 80%. That means like for 5 seconds you pretty much can't get CC'd or debuffed or purged or whatever. I mean, some skills can sneak through still, but the chance is pretty low. As for the green one, recovers HP, not enough amount, ignoring this one. The blue one, instead of avoiding debuffs, next skill will deal 30% more damage. Can be nice. Can be nice. If you just want to deal damage and combine this one with like the Rewinding Gesture one that crits everything, you could actually perform a pretty nice kill shot. But yeah, I mean, it's just the next skill. It's not every skill for 11 seconds, it's just the next skill. So I still think it's not worth it. It's so situational. I mean, if you got everything ready for and have a perfect setup for it, it could be nice, but then again, it's still too situational. I think there will be some Seekers that were gonna use the blue glyph, but I think not so much. The red one is also pretty interesting. It decreases channeling time for 20 seconds, and the title is increased to 9 seconds in terms of duration. This is pretty nice. I mean, the cooldown is also doubled, but if you have like 20 seconds of instant channeling time and 9 seconds of title, you might not need another cooldown because your enemy is already dead by then. Pretty nice glyph. Is also situational, but I like it too. I like it too. It will be used a lot, I guess. As for the silver glyph, you remove every single old effect and you just get untargetable for 3 seconds. Nah, I wouldn't use that. It's not worth it. So, let's come to the mystics. The Bramble Tornado gets an upgrade. Weapon damage, nope. Weapon damage and doesn't push, nope. No. Channeling time decrease, that's always nice. That's always nice. I mean, the faster you can get the skill out, the better. So I really liking the blue one. Let's see what else we have. Chi, nope, I don't want that. The Argent Glyph is really interesting. Again, the Argent Glyphs are always so interesting. But this is pretty questionable because it says pushes user back and gives immunity to any negative effects while being pushed. So you're pushing yourself back for 12 meters, which pretty much means it isn't a attack skill anymore, and instead it's like a leap back. Yeah, you can tell it like that. It's a leap back with which you remove any negative effects. Meanwhile, it's pretty similar to the BM leap, I gotta say. It's a defensive skill. I mean, for pure support mystics, that's pretty nice. So if you're a support mystic, use that one. If you're an offensive mystic, use that one. Channel decrease for offensive power and a save skill, another save skill. You can never have enough save skills. I mean, awesome. As for Gaia's Blessing, it becomes a useful skill, finally. Golden Glyph, duration. I mean, the duration increase is pretty nice because the heal itself is also pretty nice, but it's only on yourself, so nope. The green glyph gains some chi per tick since it's an AoE. That could be good, but it's still just 11 chi, so potentially 33 chi for everyone since it ticks 3 times. Nah, I wouldn't use it. Oh, sorry, it ticks 4 times actually, I believe, because the duration is 12 seconds by default. Either way, 44 doesn't make it better. The blue one decreases the channeling time to 1.4 seconds, which could actually make that skill usable, because the channeling time as it is now is pretty long and not so usable. And regaining chi for yourself, it's also not that good. The silver one is also pretty nice. It lasts 12 seconds, restores 5% of base magic damage every 3 seconds, so it reduces the heal output, but after those 12 seconds you get purified, but only you. For 1v1 to keep yourself alive a little bit more, it might be good, but for mass PvP or support I wouldn't use it. For mass PvP and support I would use the channeling one, just the channeling one, because it gets out faster and then you can actually use the skill, because it's not that slow anymore. As for the dust blades, pretty disappointing. I mean, you get 20 chi back per default, which makes it worthwhile to even upgrade the skill if you can accept that the range is gimped if you're a demon dust blade, because you would need to use the green glyph to get your range back, nearly. Weapon damage, 30% of weapon damage. I mean, seriously, why do dust blades get 30% of weapon damage, and even Toxic Torrent for the Sin gets like 500% weapon damage instantly? But hey, I'm no developer. What do I know, right? Green one, range, can be good, but if range is important to you, just stick to the demon version. Blue, 50% chance of causing effect that does increasing damage. I mean, if that is a translation error what I have here, and there's a 50% chance to cause a 60% damage amp while casting that skill, that would be huge. We need to test that out. I will test that out, of course, if the update comes, but still a 50% chance. If it's just one little bit you need, one little bit of damage you need, and you proc that one, and since the paralyze is quite long on that skill, you can like chain an eternity or Strigomorphic Strike or something like that, then it's pretty nice. Then you will deal a lot more damage, because 60% is quite a bit of a damage increase. So it's nice, yeah. But G for the red one, nah. Additional 60% of weapon damage after going into Reaper form. Really? Really? Is that it, Argent Glyph? Yeah? Okay. So, if you use any glyph on this one, use the blue one. Yeah, definitely. Blinking Moment is quite nice, I gotta say. The golden one adds base physical damage, but if it's the same as with the other port skill, the damage is ignorable. Green one increases the range quite a bit, 33 meters. Can be nice, depending on what you want to do. That's a nice glyph, but you don't have the space to actually glyph that skill, because you still can only glyph 6 skills, and just a bit more range in this skill, that's just not worth it. However, the blue one, with a 60% chance to purify yourself, this skill can really save you, because you can obviously reset the skill's cooldown with your anti-stun skill, and then you can spam it 2 times, so you can actually use it up to 3 times, and this can really save you, because you're using that skill all the time anyway. And if you get a nasty debuff from you at the same time, nice. It would be cool if that was achievable, but a level 10 glyph, we won't be getting any of these anytime soon. So at level 10 it would be a must-have skill. Let me say it like it is. It would be a must-have skill, but 60% is also nice. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that one on my Dustblade, but I'm thinking about it. Let's see. Chi gain, forget it. After transformation range, where if I even see that, I'm going to nah, it's worthless. Well, let's come to our most favorite caster, the Stormbringers. Monsoon has got an upgrade. And weapon damage, nope, the hell out of here. Damage on monsters, nope, the hell out of here. Additional weapon damage, and you have to have specific charges, nope. I mean, the only glyph you could use is the additional damage in Reaper form, but it's just 10% more damage. Makes no difference. Just don't use it. As for Tidal Force, this is a pretty great upgrade in itself if you're a Sage, because you get the Demon's range, which is, yeah. I mean, it takes away another advantage of Demon Stormbringer, but I won't complain. It's a pretty nice skill, and I will definitely use the green glyph because it increases the CC chance from 33% to 45% with each of the 3 attacks it performs, so that's pretty nice. I mean, that's a no-brainer. You use the green glyph. You pretty much have to use the green glyph, because more reliable CC, especially AoEs, is exactly what you want. You don't want weapon damage. I mean, if you have 3 charges, you can freeze the enemy 100%, and you get, like, I would interpret it this way, that you get 8 chi, like 0.08 sparks per attack you perform. So it's free, so you get like 24 chi, and 24 chi is nothing at all. I mean, it's nice that you have like a 100% chance to freeze someone, and 3 ice charges. You have 3 ice charges anyway, nearly all the time. So that's also a pretty nice one, but I have to think about it, because it also limits you a bit. Like if you want to use Ice Bullet and then you use Cloud Burst for some debuffing action, then you can't use that skill anymore to chain. Like if you use your clone with the clone's Ice Bullet, and I like to chain it with Tidal Force so that the clone has the chance to Ice Bullet to target then for some CC locking, and it would be pretty hard to throw in some debuffs if you use that glyph. So I guess I take my chances and use the green one instead. So let's see, what does the red one do? 3 thunder charges, increases the damage, but just 10%, no. Same as Reaper form, it's not worth it. And let's come to the most juicy part of the entire video, or ridiculous part, if I may say so. There have been also changes made to the older skills, and first off we can start with the Blade Master. The Blade Master ulti to be exact, and you don't get like intervals of 10% damage increase each hit you perform. You get 20% damage increase each hit you perform up to 100%. The cap is still the same, but still, if you like stun someone with Roar of Pride and reduce their accuracy, and use the ulti before, by the time you perform your Dragon Rising, you're already at 60% because you already got 3 hits in. And then if you use HF and 1 single random skill, by the time you use the 5th skill after HF, you're already at double damage. Plus the double damage of HF, and then you land a Circuit. Yeah, it's GG. And your enemy is most likely dead. So this is a great upgrade and makes the ulti a lot stronger, in my opinion. Because the faster you build up the stacks to 100%, more of your skills can profit from it. I mean, you needed to cast 10 skills to be at the cap, and now every skill After you use the 5th one, it's already at 100%. That's pretty nice. But for the most broken thing I've ever read in every patch note possible, this is just insanity. If that is true, and it seems to be the case because it was directly taken from the Chinese files, this translation here, and if that is true, and you can get a 60-second 100% immunity to any debuffs, 100% title for 60 seconds as a Barb. I mean, the skill has 5-minute cooldown, don't get me wrong. You could just kite the Barb. But can you kite the Barb for like a minute if it's like 3v3 an arena fight? Can you do that then? If you have like a max damage Barb like Nuima Portal, Deity Stones, you could just walk up to a caster with that skill on and chase the caster down until he's dead. And no caster in the game can kite a Barb for that long without dying. If you have the damage to kill a caster, and with the new upgraded skills you will have enough damage to nearly kill anyone if you have the gears, with Armageddon instantly, pretty much. And you can't be CC'd, you can't be debuffed, there's nothing they can use to stop you. It's like a perfect title. This is completely broken, and I hope they fix that, because I can't use the red glyph for this skill, because this is such a massive try-hard skill that I would feel bad if I would use that skill. Of course I will use it in 3v3 sometimes, just to show those sins how it feels like if you're standing next to someone spamming your skills and nothing works. I will use it sometimes in 3v3, but for 1v1 I cannot use that skill, because that's just absolutely broken. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you would have to kite the Barb for the entirety of those 60 seconds, because attempting to bout with a Barb that can be CC'd with Solid Shield ready and Invoke and all the damage increasing stuff, that would be suicide. So this is like an instant, oh, I kite from you because I can't do anything against you while you're on those steroids, which is Red Glyph Cornered Beast. But yeah, it's pretty damn OP. For mass PvP, NTW Bobs will be so much harder to get killed with that glyph, and of course the 100 death level buff on Blood Rush they also got. Barb survivability will bump up into, I don't know, it will be over 9,000. Absolutely nice, but absolutely stupid as well. I don't know what those Chinese developers are smoking, but it must be extremely good. There are also some minor changes to some glyphs that add, like, they consume 5% of your HP and their multipliers just got bumped up. Not the maximum multiplier, but you get a higher amount for like the lower level glyphs. Like everyone has like 5 to 7 level glyphs, so you get like six times the 5% of HP used. But even if you are like a 70k HP standing Barb, that's still like no damage at all. So I wouldn't, all those glyphs, just don't use them. They're not worth it. They're absolutely useless. Garbage. You don't need to use them at all. So let's come to our Mystic, and I'm very, 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 very happy to see that. The Voidbringer ultimate skill is finally useful. This was the most useless ultimate skill of all classes by far, because it did nothing. Nothing at all. It was just, you spawned it and it instantly died. You could like absorb it for some physical defense and for some magic attack, but that's pretty much it, and some crit increase of course as well. But now it can take double the damage, deals double the damage, even though its own damage doesn't really matter, and it absorbs 100% of every damage that you get. And while your pet is alive, the Mystic is immune to any debuff. Yet again, if you can keep your Voidbringer alive through the entire duration, like if let's say you 1v1 someone that doesn't have those amazing damage skills out of the blue, like if you 1v1 a Cleric, and you keep healing your pet, the Cleric can't do shit to you. The Cleric can't kill you, the Cleric can sock you, the Cleric can't sleep you, the Cleric can't occult ice you, the Cleric can't debuff you, the Cleric can't put their HP absorbing Aurora array stuff on you. I mean, that's a pretty damn nice ultimate now. And I'm looking forward to test that out because I'm hyped for this. This is hype. I love it. As for the Cleric, Pantheon's Blessing, yeah, it's just a very, 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 very minor skill update. So, well, guys, we're through all the skill updates and changes. I think some skills got buffed over the top, like Cornered Beast, 60-second perma title for Barb. 60-second title for Barb, 100% immunity to anything. That is insanity. I hope this is not true. I hope they will fix this if it's true. And yeah, as for the other skills, I mean, the other changes are, compared to this one, pretty minor. This one is a nice change. Some skills got a nice upgrade, since get even stronger now because they have another paralyzed skill with a potential long duration, 3.5 seconds with just 5 hit charges. And it's so hard to get hit charges with a Sin. It's not, actually, so that is pretty bad. Some other classes like Stormbringer, Duskblades, BMs, if you compare the upgrades they get to what like Barbs get and Seeker get and Assassins get, it's like nothing. It's like nothing. There are some useful skills for other classes that are pretty balanced, like the Tornado upgrade or the Gaia's Blessing update for the Mystic. That's pretty balanced. Nice upgrades, but nothing broken. Like literally, absolutely nothing broken. Unlike, of course, the Blade Affinity upgrade for the Seeker, this makes a huge difference. This skill makes a massive difference. I mean, look at this. Like 20-second instant channel and 9-second title. What the hell? Every caster's dream, I just say, but you know, can't be helped. It's the Seekers now. And of course, the ability for 8-second permacrit. Just nice. The Seeker upgrades on top of the already very OP class are pretty. I don't know. It's worrying. It's pretty worrisome. But we'll see how it plays out. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Psys got shafted as well, as usual. And yeah, I hope you're looking forward to the new skills just as much as I do. And if you have any further questions, just type them below and I try to answer them as good as I can. And yeah, I don't forget how OP Barbs get with the new Violent Triumph and Blood Rush, because those skills are just those skills alone without the title are already insane. But yeah, okay, enough about the Barbies, enough about the broken stuff. If you have any questions, type them down below. I will try to answer them. I will try to keep everything updated or make a follow-up video if anything changes, if there are any new fixes or informations about those skills, because they're all just translations, so of course there could be an error here and there, but I keep you guys updated if I can. So, then I wish you all a great day, a great week, a great year, a great life. Be happy, do whatever you want in life, just be yourselves, and let's look forward to those changes together. Bye guys!